which kind of upset me, because, you know, I'm doing all this to try and incredibly fast aim, switch weapons faster, no one cares. It's just like some of these upgrades that give you like +2 agility. When held, this weapon grants +2 character agility. The agility bonus is so minimal, you don't even notice a change in your agility stats bar. Like, it's that pathetic. But yeah, here's Murmur. You've got more magazine, which it makes it go to 8, which isn't that good. Let's see. What is my agility? Okay, so from here, for me, it's about the size of my thumb. Like, I'm 5 feet or so away from my TV, so... No, what am I doing? So, we'll see. What does 2 points of agility actually give me? I mean, I guess there's a small noticeable, like, there's a little bit of a difference, maybe. But it's not, like, it's so unnoticeable that I think you would have to have almost no agility and then do it to realize that there was a boost to the agility. I prefer the aiming, but like, knee pads slide further while this weapon is equipped. How is that useful? And what I was talking about, here's if you're using the arc damage, but if you change it to solar, it boosts the impact and the range. Now, if you've never used a fusion rifle, like, I hadn't really used one until I started this character, and it never gave me shotguns. It kept giving me fusion rifles, so I'm like, screw it, I'll use that for my special weapon. And fusion rifles take a couple of seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds on average, to charge up. Then they fire 4 shots per round in your magazine. So that 6 is actually closer to 24. Stability is important, but range, they're not really a ranged weapon. They're the way I see them used, they're a lot more like shotguns with like double the range. Not a big huge jump, but even in PvE, a guy that's not in your face, you can reliably hit him with the fusion rifle. Impact, it fires 4 bullets per round. That impact is already ridiculously high. I mean, not high for a fusion rifle, but it's really high. You don't really need the boost. What you need the boost in is reload and charge rate. So I wish they had made that permanent. Like, I get it, you want me to have to change the element. But if I'm fighting a bunch of knights with red shields, I don't want to have to look back and be like, man, I don't want to give up like 1/3 of my charge rate or 1/3 of my reload speed just to be able to kill that guy. I'd much rather just hit him with the gun I'm used to. Because if you're used to a 3-second charge, and then you have to go to like a 4 or 5-second charge, that's going to slow up your entire like gameplay strategy. If you're used to, I turn the corner and blast a guy in a couple of seconds, and then you turn that corner and your gun is still charging, now you're in trouble. Your own gun has screwed you over, and that's not very fair to the player. But again, it's obvious that Bungie doesn't really care about the players. Like, they give you gifts and stuff every now and then, but they're really more of a...
Exchange.
Like, a couple weeks ago, they gave us the legendary... Yeah, the legendary sparrows. There's nothing special about the legendary sparrow except you got it for free. I haven't actually looked into why they gave them to us. My original theory is, for those players who have actually stayed this long, thank God you're still here. Here, have a sparrow. Which, no offense, if you're gonna give me something, I don't want a sparrow. Give me, like, an exotic weapon that no one else can get unless they've, you know, reliably been here for this whole time. Oh well. But I thought I would... Oh. I like hard light, but because its impact is about the average, like, I like a decent... Impact is your damage. The attack stat is kind of a misnomer. Attack really affects the level of the monster you can hurt. Like, if you are using a weapon with 300 attack, which hard light will eventually get there, you will do your full impact, I believe is how it does. It pretty much affects how easily you can break shields. Pretty much attack is shield breaking, impact is damage in general. I've seen people use hard light. I'm not a fan of auto rifles to start with, but if I'm going to use one, it needs to at least do some damage. That's why I still keep my scout rifle around. Because if you'll see, I like having... To me, scout rifles are like a dumbed down sniper rifle. Do the same amount of crazy damage and do great range. I haven't found any decent... Like, help me... If you guys play this, help me find... Because this is the Ares Nemesis X4. It's not the exact same one you can buy at the Crucible. The Crucible, or was it the Crucible or was it the Vanguard? Somebody sells the Ares Nemesis X4, but it's a different one. Whatever. We will use this. Like, I like impact. Fire rate for a scout rifle isn't really that important. I like the impact, because then I can use it at any range and it'll still be a killer weapon. Stability is nice, but again, damage is important. So I'm looking for a good scout rifle, and they still haven't made it so I can buy stuff. Which, for those of you who are in my boat, I have 228 spin metal and nothing to do with it. I'm not going to discard it, because that's a serious waste. I'm also not going to, like, have, like, the Suros I have uses spin metal. My old one used helium, that's why it took me so long to level its sorry butt up. But this one uses spin metal. And I have more than enough exotic shards, because once they announced that, I had about a week. So I broke down an exotic helmet that I had been holding for a hunter, which is why I'm tempted to break down this one, but I want to make the wife hate me just a little bit. And at the same time, I bought, because you'll remember in the last video, I had like 30-something exotic, or not exotic, strange coins. So I bought 2 exotic shards to be prepared, and Plan C. And then they gave me Murmur, which is pretty much Plan C, but with a higher max attack. Plan C is one of the old exotics. It goes up to 300. This one goes to 331. So I broke down Plan C, making me feel very stupid. But because I had seriously upgraded Plan C, I got 2 exotic shards, which is the equivalent of like 14 strange coins, which is almost what I paid for Plan C. So I don't feel as betrayed. But if you're gonna give me a weapon, please let me know. I won't buy an exotic fusion rifle, 3 days before you give me a better fusion rifle, because that, like, if they have sold any other weapon, I'd have probably still be using that.
The soul is banished, but Crota still lives.
I'm not gonna be doing a Nightfalls yet. My level and skill are not there. The current one, the Nightfall, is a level 30. I want to get some decent armor, I guess. Because the only piece of gear that wasn't raid gear is my armor. And now they're selling armor that's not only light 30, but light 33. The Vanguard has the piece I want, but it's going to cost me like 100-something marks and a Vanguard commendation. I've heard you get those by ranking up Vanguard. Well, I'm Vanguard rank 2, I think. I'm guessing it's every rank after 2 or after 3. Like, instead of just getting the care packages like you would normally get for 3 and above, you'll get a commendation and maybe the care package. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, and my wife's not in a big hurry to rank anything up, so... Me, I'm trying to catch up to my old character, because he was rank 3 in everything, and he was a rank 6 Vanguard. So, I'll get there. Don't you guys worry. I really like some of the gear you can buy from Airsporn. But yeah, if you guys know of a decent high impact, like rate of fire, I wish it were a little faster, but pretty much impact, stability, range, reload, everything but the rate of fire really important, I guess. Like stability is kind of a half stat, but impact, range, and reload have to be slightly better than normal. So I keep looking at these guys and comparing the stats, and none of them really impress me, because the impact on my gun is better than any of the ones being sold, which kind of ticks me off, because that's why I also didn't buy the Mida multi-tool. Not last week. Last week was Plan C. The week before that, they were selling the Mida multi-tool,
Will you help us?
which was an exotic scout rifle, which I love my scout rifles. But again,
Think about
my gun had better stats. The Mida multi-tool had some sort of like special ability, which I thought was cool, but it's not cool enough for me to spend like 20 something strange coins on. I like it. See, this scout rifle's a little better. Swaps out range and reload for better stability. This one swaps out those two again for no. See, I wouldn't mind giving up just reload or just range. And Badger CCL is kind of a weird name for a gun. The old gun used to be called the Devil You Know. This one's called the Devil You Don't. That's kind of cool. I don't really need a sniper rifle. I want to be able to sell my materials.
You are always welcome.
That, or you need to give me so many free pieces of, like, legendary stuff. Yeah, if you got the DLC, Bungie sent you, like, a little thank you package. It was 2 blue engrams, which, guys, you can't even do the first mission unless you are level 24. Or you can do it, but you probably won't survive it. If you're level 24, you're not using blue crap anymore. You're using legendary. So the fact that all they gave you was like 2 ascendant shards, 2 ascendant energy, 2 pieces of blue armor, that sucked.
Checking right.
I mean, thank you, Bungie, for giving me free stuff, but at the same time, I don't need it. All I did for that stuff was break it down for money. And that disappoints. What am I still doing? I will let y'all go. I know this video's probably gonna be pushing the half-hour mark again. So, thank you for still sticking with me on this. If you guys need anything, if you want to, like, see any particular tricks or something, probably not any of my farm spots, because I really don't want those nerfed. Because that's how Bungie works. If you farm in an MMO, it's apparently against the rules, which y'all are idiots, but okay.
Goodbye, Guardian.
And if any of you guys are grumpy because I keep complaining that Bungie is failing at its job, read the forums. I'm not the only one. Everybody thinks Bungie's failing at their job. So, if you have a beef with that, go play a real game, I guess. My wife nearly cried Tuesday night because before we went to work Tuesday night, or Tuesday morning, we had like an hour when we get up. We played the first mission of the Dark Below DLC. We beat the mission in about half an hour. When we got home, all we were looking forward to was being able to like keep
Defeated.
working on that story. The story
May be
itself is
possible.
3 missions. 3. All together, those 3 missions took us maybe an hour and a half. Tops. That nearly made her cry. Like,
Cade wants what now?
we had to leave our apartment and go out to dinner to talk about anything that wasn't Destiny because that was just dang depressing. You made me wait because, like I've said before, if the DLC wasn't going to impress you, probably the rest of the game is... the game is failing. You expected a really good game. We haven't gotten it yet. So, I don't think I'm the only player that reserved the game and said, okay, if they don't get their act together in the first 2 DLCs, because I got it as part of my reservation, I'm not going to keep buying more. They're not worth using. Why would it give an ability that reduces severity of weapon recoil and also give it better stability? I don't need like a super perfectly accurate gun. I need one that kills people. I like the missing actually can give you whatever.
Another battle.
Don't worry about it. I'm just... But yeah,
You
whoever
want a ship?
is designing this game
What
or
can I fix
working
you
on the
up with?
coding and stuff for it, you need to start...
Good
You
luck
need to
out
stop nerfing everything people actually are playing the game for. Like, there are still a couple of farm areas. Decent ones that, yeah, they don't drop as often or as much loot as the loot cave. But in this one, in this game, it's not so much about loot drop rate, it's spawn rate. You need to find an area that drops even 4 or 5 bad guys in a very small room. Go there, blow them up with a rocket or your super or whatever, and then they will keep giving you the ammo. Every planet's got a decent place to farm materials, so if you're watching this video,
there.
don't go with Bungie's plan. Say screw you to their vision, quote unquote, of the game, because if their vision was a terrible game that every player hates, they're doing great. If their vision was a game that people would actually
Yes.
enjoy playing with their friends, they've screwed it up. Don't buy these. These are not worth it. You gotta remember, this is like 2 marks, or 2 spin metal for 1 mark. You get
Okay.
2 marks for 15 minutes of work. I can open a chest and get 2 spin metal. And that takes me like 5 seconds. There are a couple of places you will find, like the chests in every area, there's always like 3 or 4 chests per area. So find an area you really like the diversity in. Like I do the Skywatch. You get some Hive, you get some Fallen, so you get that nice flux there of who you're fighting, different skill sets. There's a couple of different areas that connect to it, so if you get bored, it's got 2 patrol missions, so it's a nice place to hang out and be able to get the job done. If you get any bounties that say kill Hive or kill Fallen, you can do both of them there, usually. Maybe not the majors and ultras, because those don't show up there as often. But every other quest that's just kill lots of people, or kill 100 people with precision damage without dying or something like those ones, alright, you can do them at Skywatch.
Yes.
That's my place to go. Every planet's got one. Doesn't mean I've found it.
Transaction complete.
Venus, I think I found a good one.
Nothing salvageable.
On your way to the archive, you hit like this circular kind of area where Vex are fighting Fallen. Pretty much a bunch of drags versus a lot of just Vex goblins and a pair of hobgoblins. If you get there, you'll know the area. If you've been there before, you know the area I'm talking about. There's a lot of guys there, and they spawn almost continuously. Like, you'll say, kill the drags. You'll be almost done killing all of the goblins that have spawned, and the drags will start shooting you in the back because they've come back. Because it takes you a little while to kill all those things unless you just rocket everything. And even then, you'll run out of rockets eventually and have to do it the slow way like the rest of us. Unless, you know, you're me. If you get a rocket launcher or a heavy machine gun that has that bottom ability of expect to find more ammo, don't get rid of it ever. Yes, the gun doesn't do any more damage than any other rocket launcher you see, but expecting to find more ammo is a amazing ability. You will never, well, you run out. Just, while with most rocket launchers, I'll pick up ammo, I'll get 1 or 2 rockets, depending on their maximum amount of ammo. This one, I pick up 3. With 3 rockets, that's more than half my clip I just refilled, because its max is 5. With 3, I have 2 in the chamber and 1 in the back, waiting for me to blow somebody up with it. I mean, that's a lot of ammo. It gets the job done.
Cloaks and cowls, cowls and cloaks.
I also like, sometime in the recent past, they made it so you don't have to buy the stupid shaders to see what they look like. Like, I like the gray and white. That's kind of a cool color. That's the one I'm wearing now. I also like, if you're doing Crucible on, like, Venus, and you're one of those who people only kill you if they catch you outside the corner of your eye, outside the corner of their eye, I like Broadsword. Green camo with brown highlights. Now, each of these is going to look different depending on your class, which I guess is kind of cool because the class armor doesn't look the same, so the shaders shouldn't either.
No, we aren't ready.
But a lot of what they've added aren't particularly new. Like, they promised new maps for Crucible, but okay, whoop. If you needed Crucible, like a change in scenery that bad, you're not playing this game for the game. You're playing it for PvP, and this was just the most convenient game because you had it lying around. But they added one strike, which, Bungie, if you listen to anything I ask you for, don't tweak Omnigul's strike at all. The strike is perfect. There's just enough cover for both your allies and your enemies. The boss has a shield, but it's not nearly as overpowered or OP as some of his minions. Breaking his shield is easy. Killing him is a little more difficult. Like, he's not as bullet spongy. Of course, he's a level 26 strike, and me and my wife are both level 29s using fully 300 attacked weapons. So, for us to kill the 26 boss and say he's not a supremely large bullet sponge. Now, of course, he's a wizard, so a lot of your normal tactics, like with Sepix and Fogoth, they're huge. They're giants. You can hit him with a rocket launcher, and even if they move a little, you're not gonna miss. A wizard, on the other hand, you miss him a lot. For those of us who keep getting lots of rocket ammo and missing a lot, whoops. But no, me and the wife were able to do him. He was just challenging enough to make you feel like you had to work for it, but he was easy enough that if, like, there's a quest saying, hey, go fight Omnigul, you're actually excited to do it. Whereas Fogoth, I play with veteran players, we go do the bare minimum Fogoth, and we still hate him. He's a terribly broken giant of a thing, and it's not because Fogoth's a bullet sponge. I mean, yeah, he's a bullet sponge, but it's because his minions are so overpowered. If you do, like, a Nightfall strike for Fogoth, his minions will destroy you in 1 or 2 shots. Fogoth won't. And that's why we like our camping places, Bungie, because you broke half our enemies. Jackasses. Just, please don't tweak Omnigul. Maybe tweak, Murmur just a little bit. Not... Make its charge rate from arc permanent. Maybe the reload speed permanent, but that's not really necessary. But I would say for if you're using the fire, or if you're using solar, that gun. I would say if you're going to make it so the stats are different, don't make it 2 stats. Like, if you go with solar damage, you're trading impact for reload speed. Like, it'll take you a little longer to reload, but those bullets will be worth more damage per bullet. And then if you switch back to arc, you give up a little impact for reload speed. But just mess with those 2 stats. Range isn't important for a fusion rifle. I don't know why you touched it. Impact isn't really that important. For fusion rifles, it's the charge rate, and you made it so if you're not using arc, you're being punished. Bungie is punishing you based on your playstyle, or based on the enemies you're fighting. If you're fighting, who uses blue? Captains. If you're fighting fallen captains, then Arc Murmur is your best friend. If you're fighting anything with a solar shield, wizards, certain knights, fallen shanks, or like noble shanks, or reaver shanks, or whatever they're called, you've seen them. Those red shields take forever to break. Then you're being punished if you use Murmur, because it doesn't fire as fast, it doesn't reload as fast, it doesn't charge as fast. Punished. I don't like being punished for my playstyle. I mean, yeah, I hate... Like, you'll also notice, if you are playing in PvP, I would almost guess that most of the players will be using the Arc version of Murmur, as opposed to Solar, because that charge rate helps win fights. PvP, PvE, I don't like... Like, if I were to use Murmur in a PvP match, then I would definitely use the arc, because fire rate is important. Almost as important as damage. For a fusion rifle, that number is flip-flopped. Charge rate is way more important than damage. I will officially let you go this time. I know I said that before, and my mom does that all the time. Just, bye, and then starts rambling again. But, if I don't see you guys in a video in the next couple of weeks, I hope you really had a safe, happy Thanksgiving. I'll make another video in the next 2 weeks, so I will see you guys then. But for the moment, lights out.